Honestly, I don't really want to do this video, but I feel like I had to get it off my chest because every time I see my camera or do something in front of the camera, I just can't get my mind because this is like in the back of my head constantly. I'm not gonna get into the whole George Floyd situation because unanimously everyone knows that it's like that was a horrible thing. Everyone wants to see all four of those cops completely just put away. No one agrees that they should get off. Probably a couple fringe lunatics that just want to be edgy or they're just dumb. But everyone that I've met on the left, right, black, white, Asian, everyone knows that these guys should be totally put away. But these are for the people who just completely just love to race bait. And this has been going on for years. I've had these views constantly because I just hate the narrative that you can't achieve anything if you're black or you have to work 20 times harder. I don't know where they get this proof or they never supply any evidence at all. It's just constantly just like the man's out there to get you. I don't know. I as a black person, male or whatever I categorize myself, I get gigs because I go out there and I search and I hunt for them. I've met many other magicians and I've somehow got myself on TV and things like that in the past month during a quarantine. Someone just found my stuff and I thought it was just, I worked really hard for it. I practice a lot. I read my books and things like that, but like people just say, oh well, I didn't get it because I'm black. And I don't know understand why is these multi-millionaires telling black people, oh well, you the system's against you, you can't do anything with your life, it's the white man's fault. And I'm like, dude, you're a shining example of like anyone can make it, especially a black person. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like they want to talk about systemic racism. They want to talk about the incarceration of black people. They want to talk about how like crack was more like a harsher offense than cocaine. No one wants to talk about how there's 13% of black people in America, but we commit about 50% of the violent crimes, and all the homicides against black people are from other black people. No one wants to talk about the welfare state and how a lot of women depended on it from the 60s and the 70s. That's what created a lot of fatherless homes. And with fatherlessness, you constantly have crime, and that's across all races. That's it across every single race, and it just damages the black community for some reason. It's just within the black community, a lot of people just abuse the welfare system. A lot of people have the welfare system rewards women for having more children, and someone literally told me that's not true, and I'm just like, dude, just look it up. No one wants to do research like at all. It's just when I post like statistics or actual articles or video evidence, people just say, oh, you got that from an alt-right source, or that you can't prove it when I have actual proof, and their proof is literally just like a tweet from a blue check mark. That's all the proof that they need. That is everything. The thing that really set me off, what made me start posting all the stuff on my Instagram, I've been making stories about people, what they won't post. They just keep constantly pushing narratives constantly. They want to abolish the police. Stupid. They want to abolish the police. They want to have every single person of color to be retried. It's just all this other stuff. They want to put the funds into other things, and they wanted to get to colored communities and all this crazy stuff. The thing that really set me off was the death of David Dorn. He was a 77-year-old retired police officer that was murdered over a flat screen television. And I'm pretty sure you didn't hear about it because the dude was black. And the person that most likely did it, he was caught. I don't think it was like 1,000% that he's been like sure that he did it, but it's like 99%. It was another black guy. And no one wants to talk about it because it's not for the narrative. Another guy, Dave Patrick Underwood, another black police officer, standing there with another police officer. White van pulls up, shoots both of them, kills Underwood. No one talks about it, no, because it doesn't fit their narrative. And then, like, I was asking the question, like, why do we have these multimillionaire, like, black people, and a lot of white ones too? I'm sorry for being racist.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
Shut the fuck up. We have all these, like, black people just talking down to other black people, but I'm like, why doesn't anyone talk to, like, the positive black people saying, like, dude, you can do it, just put your mind to it? Like Morgan Freeman, he's just like, dude, if you want to get rid of racism, just stop talking about it.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman. You're going to say, well, I know this white guy named Mike Wallace. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, constantly, and that's all people do. They're just like, we want to end racism, but you need to learn about your white privilege. It's like, or people like Killer Mike. He was like, dude, we're all upset, like all of America. Like I know that seeing someone being snuffed out, like their life being snuffed out, it really pissed you off. But burning down your own community is not going to solve anything. Even George Floyd's brother was like, he said the same exact thing. He was just like, guys, burning down your own community is not solving anything, and no one talks about that. No one cares. And when you say things like that, you're just a coon. You're Uncle Tom. That's what people have been telling me. It's like, oh yeah, you're just a coon. I'm like, no, it's because you don't want to hear the truth about the black community and things like that. And Martin Luther King is one of my like heroes. Like, I've always loved learning about him in school. He was always like a very, like, one of my favorite role models. And like a lot of like basically like life in general, or like race relations or anything. And people just kept misquoting the guy constantly. A riot is the language of the unheard. Yeah, he said that, but did you listen to the other half of that statement? Like, you took the first half, but you forgot the second half, where he literally says that they're self-defeating. They don't make any sense. It doesn't solve anything.
And a vigorous protest, my hope is that it will be nonviolent. I would hope that we can avoid riots, because riots are self-defeating and socially destructive.
When you post that, oh no, I've literally had a few people say this, is where they would literally take the MLK quote, the riot one, and I'll like call him out. I'm like, dude, he didn't say that. He said they were self-defeating. And then they go, oh, well, his way didn't work. Peace never worked anyways. So the Civil Rights Act, 1964, complete bullshit. He didn't do anything. And I keep having people saying like, wow, you're upset of people looting and like damaging property. You're more upset about property and things like that. I'm like, no. I talked about David Dorn when you didn't talk about him, or Officer Underwood. You didn't talk about him when I did. You guys are really upset about one guy's death that you literally killed 20 plus people in this whole movement together. Over 20 people died. And now there's police officers finding glass in their food, finding razor blades. They're putting bleach and things like that. There hasn't been 1,000% confirmed, and like a lot of them saying there were accidents. But I think it's way too coincidental to find a fucking razor blade in someone's food. Like, really? And glass? I've seen very little people call out the looters and things like that. I when I first saw like looters and people were calling them out, people were just saying, "Oh no, they're police officers. Oh no, they're white supremacists," things like that. And then like videos of like teenage black people, black and white, Asian, Hispanic, all these people going to like Louis Vuitton stores and stealing a bunch of shit and leaving, and then it turns to, oh wow, yeah, well, I don't agree with the looting, but like it's justified because people are upset. It's like, okay, are they white supremacists, or do you agree with the looting? It's just like the narrative changes when it doesn't go their way. And you literally have people going in and stealing pills for people who have cancer, diabetes.
Sunday night, just before 9, San Jose's curfew went into effect. Surveillance cameras capture someone throwing an object, smashing the pharmacy's window. 7 people seen running inside. The thieves, wearing masks, stuffed their backpacks with bottles, there for 2 minutes. All said and done, hundreds of patients' medications stolen. Drugs to treat diabetes, epilepsy, blood pressure, to name a few.
And I don't understand when they say, like, well, they're destroying. I don't care that they destroy big businesses. Big businesses, they can afford the insurance. But, like, what about the people who live in that area that have to go shopping and eat? They can't feed themselves because you guys literally destroyed their entire business, and you're going to smaller businesses and destroying them too.
Us to have to live like this, we do stupid shit like this all the time, and we so black proud. We so black and proud that we ain't gonna never be honest and be real about what's really going on. Y'all are so wrong for this. You came in your neighborhood and fucked up your shit. I'm not a thief. I'm not coming in this store and stealing nothing. And ain't nobody gonna turn me into no animal or make me feel like a thief. Y'all let them white folks send y'all off once again. Look at all this shit on the floor. Look at all this on the floor. Everything. Everything's on the floor. Tissue. We couldn't even find tissue less than 2 months ago, and now it's on the floor. Look at it. Meanwhile, we got plenty of fruits and vegetables. I'm not finna pick through this shit. They got through the ATM. Took everything. And now, I bet you can't go to nobody and ask them, hey, you got some food, unless because they're going to sell it to you. And sell it to you for double. That's what black folks do.
And you guys only care about the black-owned businesses. I don't understand why their race even matters. It's just, why can't someone just have their business? Why do you destroy? Why do you have to drag everyone into this? And I love that whole meme with that vapid empty just from every single brand. We'll do better. We love our black employees. We love the black people who literally love to eat our stuff. We love black people. We're not racist. And like a lot of people ate all of it up. People are just like, yes, Ben and Jerry's, oh my god, McDonald's, yes, oh my god, Disney is donating millions of dollars. And like, no one wants to look at when they release things in China. Disney, they have a history for years. Whenever they have like a black character or like gay characters in their movies, they completely edit them out the movie and they remove them from posters. Like Finn from The Force Awakens, when that was being released, you see Finn, he was like roughly the same size as like everyone in the background. In the Chinese release, they completely shrink him where you don't even see him. I think also in The Last Jedi they completely like edit out him. I'm not really a Star Wars person, but him and the Asian girl, if I remember that movie, they had like a relationship that was completely edited out. Bohemian Rhapsody, all the things that mention like him being gay, things like that, Freddie Mercury, edited out. It's like incomprehensible. Characters for the Black Panther movie, they completely hide their faces so you don't know that they're black. They show all their faces in the American releases, but in China, completely just in costume, so you won't know that they're black until you go and see the movie. China, they were spreading lies saying that the Africans that lived there were actually spreading the coronavirus, and that there were some McDonald's putting up signs saying, hey, we won't allow black people in here because you're spreading the coronavirus. Sorry for the inconvenience. No one says anything. Everyone's just quiet. It's just complete silence. I'd also been posting things from like black academics. Like I've been listening to Larry Elder and like David Webb. I don't agree with like 1,000% of all these people say, but they are literally speaking the truth about like the black community and like fatherlessness in the home. And they only go on their character and their academics. That's the only thing that matters to them. And like you have David Webb, he does speeches. He's like, guys, your skin color it doesn't think for you. It's just a biological reaction from your parents or whatever. It's just something that's passed down. It's not how you think. It's not part of your thinking process. It doesn't dictate anything. It's like he says, like, we should have a conversation with people. Don't have people pull you into false narratives and just try to argue for no reason. And a lot of the people, they try to argue with you, and when you pull out facts, they just completely just ghost you right after that. You have people that are interviewing him, another black woman from CNN, literally talking to him, and he's just like, hey, I just thought it was just my academics or the way how I work. That's the only thing that matters. And she was like, oh no, it's because you have white privilege. That's it. He was like, how do I have white privilege? And of course, I love when they do this. It's just, well, I'm not going to explain it to you. You're going to have to look it up yourself. You need to teach yourself, but you have white privilege.
I've chosen to cross different parts of the media world, done the work so that I'm qualified to be in each one. I never considered my color the issue. I considered my qualifications the issue.
Well, David, that's a whole nother long conversation about white privilege and things that you have the privilege of doing that people of color don't have the privilege of.
How do I have the privilege of white privilege?
David, by virtue of being a white male, you have white privilege. This whole long conversation, I don't have time to get into it.
Ariva, I hate to break it to you, but you should have been better prepped. I'm black.
And what offended me about that, and offended him also, was that when you hear someone's academics or someone's achievements, that you could only, if it's something that's good, you can only believe that person's white. And that's really insulting. What he said it multiple times. All she could do was apologize. But like, black people just have this low self-image of themselves just because of the color of their skin. And it's disgusting. And a lot of the people, like Louis Farrakhan, a complete anti-Semite, and like Al Sharpton, that just talk down to black people constantly. I don't know why black people eat it up. I think it's because they have this villainous bad guy, so they have no reason to look into the mirror at all. And I've been saying, what has this movement accomplished about racism? Because all you guys do is cancel and dox people who make really dumb racist posts, which they shouldn't have done. And I've been trying to like spread the word of Daryl Davis, not the not the other brothers. Daryl Davis is this guy. He's a musician and actor, all these other things, and he made a book a few years ago about the KKK. And this man would just go out, meet KKK members, and befriend them. And like after becoming friends with them, they just leave the Klan.
Davis is one of the few African Americans you will ever find attending a KKK rally. More than attending, he is welcome.
I got more respect for that black man than I do you white niggers out there.
It's been a tough day for the Klan. Their Maryland rally found many local residents rejecting the message of white separatism. After it's over, Daryl Davis hangs around backstage with his friend, Klan wizard Roger Kelly. It's not unusual for blacks and whites to be friends, but it is unusual to find a black man and a Klan leader chatting pleasantly over an orange soda after a Klan rally. The relationship started over a book Davis was writing. His secretary set up an interview with Roger Kelly, but didn't tell him Davis was black. They talked and talked some more. Davis learning about the Klan, Kelly learning about Davis.
We get to know one another and we do different things, it hasn't changed my views about the Klan, because my views on the Klan's been pretty much cemented in my mind for years. I will follow right man to hell on back, because I believe in what he stands for and he believes in what I stand for. A lot of times we don't agree with everything, but at least he respects me to sit down and listen to me. And I'll respect him to sit down and listen to him.
The strange relationship of a KKK wizard and his black buddy. In Washington, I'm Carl Rochelle, CNN Sunday Morning.
Respect is the key. Sitting down and talking, not necessarily agreeing, but respecting each other to air their points of view. Because of that respect and my willingness to listen and his willingness to listen to me, he ended up leaving the Klan, and there's his robe right there.
This man's done way more than any movement has in the past 30 years, single-handedly doing it. If you have Amazon Prime, he actually does have a documentary called Accidental Courtesy, where he actually has the Klan members on there. And his entire thing is just talk to these people, try to understand why they feel this way and why they do it. All these people on the other side, they just don't want to talk. They block you. They say unfollow me if you don't agree with me. they try to dox you, they try to get you fired from your job. A lot of people already lost their job by literally voicing their opinion, saying like, hey, I don't really agree with the movement. Or they completely just have people show up to their house and try to attack them with weapons and things like that. I tried to talk to a few people. Some of them had some pretty good points. A lot of them I really did not agree with, and I do respect them coming out and talking to me. But a lot of them just kind of wanted to argue and not really listen to any of the facts. They just wanted to basically just dog on top of me. But a few of them said that you should watch a documentary called 13 on Netflix, and I'm just like, okay, cool. So I sat down, watched it. I really want to commend the documentary, if that's the right word, commend. I do give the director props for using like that striking imagery for throughout like the civil rights movement of people being attacked and lynched and things like that. Emmett Till, like that's one of those images in history that just like will shock you to the core. And I love how it didn't really hold back on that. But like the documentary just lied constantly. Well, it didn't really. I don't want to say lied. It just left out a lot of key moments. Like they would talk about like the crack epidemic. They would talk about like segregation and all these other things. But they won't talk about gang violence. They won't talk about fatherless in the home. They won't talk about the murder rates in black communities. They just leave all that out because it's inconvenient for them. And literally in the documentary, I swear to God, they talk about this woman, Asada Shakur, if I'm I think it's Asada Shakur, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. She was a person of like the Black Liberation Movement, and I think she was also part of the Black Panthers. The people in the documentary were just praising her. They're like, "Oh my God, yeah, she was a good person for the black people. She was part of the movement. She pushed black people forward." And like the documentary, which was really funny, they put up this newspaper saying that I think it was something about like murderer fled to Cuba, and I'm just like, wait, what? Murderer fled to Cuba? I thought she was a great person for the Black Liberation Movement. Let me look this up, which I'm pretty sure no one who watched the documentary who loves it did. This woman murdered 4 police officers. She has been arrested for armed robbery. When she was arrested after killing the last police officer in a shootout, she fled to Cuba. The price on her head is $2 million, and she's been hiding from the FBI for the past 40 years. And of course, the documentary is not going to go into that at all, in no detail. Another person, Angela Davis, she was in the same thing. She went to court. They were just saying, oh, she was part of the Black Panthers, and they threw her in court. They didn't explain why, of course. They just threw her in court, and they tried to send her to jail and all this other stuff. And I Googled it again. So there was like kind of like this hostage like raid takeover in the courtroom where these people went in and they killed a couple people. They tried to get someone out, and all the guns were registered to her. She was acquitted for all the charges, but like it was very sketchy. It was very sketchy how the documentary didn't mention that. There's another guy, James Kilgore, that was a part of the documentary, and this man literally he was like, oh yeah, the Black Panthers were also good. They did all these things. I looked him up also. He was part of this communist terrorist organization. So this guy was part of the I think it's pronounced like the Symbionese Liberation Movement. Communist terrorist movement. They killed like 2 people. They kidnapped Harris. They tried to steal her money, and she claimed that they also sexually assaulted her and different things like that, tried to brainwash her. He fled to Zimbabwe, and he was caught, went to jail for 6 years. Now he's back in the States doing speeches and stuff like that. You just have complete lunatics on these documentaries, and no one wants to point it out. It's just, it does not help the narrative. I also called out the director of this movie for literally being complete hypocrite. I said, if you love or hate him, the president, he went and he honored David Dorn when everyone else ignored him. They were just like, whatever, they don't care. Everyone ignored him because it didn't help the narrative. And he was like, hey, this guy was a police officer. He did all these different things, and he was completely murdered. And then the director of this movie swoops in and says, "We're not going to let you use this for your political gain. Yeah, this guy he was a great member of society. We're not going to let your white evilness," or some bullshit like that. I'm just like, you basically just did the same thing he did. It's just like no one wants to be a hypocrite. And can we stop using this SJW made up assumption that black people can't be racist? Because I see black bigotry constantly, and I've been seeing it for years. I see it all over the place. I could just look up videos of black people attacking white people for having dreads, black people going up to white people telling them to get on their knees because they're whites.
Public service announcement. Excuse me. If y'all didn't know, this is the MSC, and frankly, there's just too many white people in here, and this is a space for people of color. So just be really cognizant of the space that you're taking up, because it does make some of us POCs uncomfortable when we see too many white people in here. It's only been open for 4 days, and frankly, there's the whole university for a lot of y'all to be at, and there's very few spaces for us. So keep that in mind. Thank you.
Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power! How about niggas? Black 12! You hit me on being. Is they white? Let me see. If they're white, white! They white! They white, get their ass! Come on, nigga! Hurry that bitch up! Hey! Hey, they beating up! Hey, y'all! Hey, they beating up every white person. They jumping every white person. Man, no white person come down Sherman. He white. Beat his shit, bitch. That's what it's
And the thing that they say doesn't make any sense. I use the definition from the dictionary of racism. That's the scary thing, is that they're going in and they're trying to change definitions to help their narrative. They're saying that racism only works if you're in a position of power. So I guess Obama, 8 years doesn't count. I'm sure that people, like in Georgia, when the mayor's black, city council is mostly black, police officers mostly black. You go to like Texas, a lot of them are Hispanic. Same thing with California, a lot of them Hispanic. No one points things out, but they just say, well, you got to be in a position of power to be racist. And it's, oh, Jesus Christ. Now they're going around just censoring things. They're trying to get rid of Aunt Jemima, and then Uncle Ben said, oh shit, we gotta get rid of him too. I hope they make him white, just to see what would happen. I'm just hoping that they just replace it with the white person. This is like, I kind of want to say, like, the Speedy Gonzalez thing was that Warner Brothers are kind of ashamed of themselves for having Speedy Gonzalez in their cartoons, because he was basically just a Mexican stereotype, which he is. And they were just like, yeah, we're not going to show his cartoons anymore. It's kind of embarrassing. And like the Hispanic community was just like, bro, just leave it alone. We kind of like it. And a lot of black people that I know, they use a lot of Aunt Jemima. And non-black people, can you stop DMing black people and apologizing for racism? Like, can you stop? It's really, really cringe. It's really just, no one cares. No one cares. The average person doesn't care. The only people are gonna do that want you to apologize are just like the ravaged, like far left communists. That's the only one who really gives a shit. No one else does. So just stop. So they're trying to censor things. They're trying to get rid of statues. They're trying to get rid of TV shows that have blackface. They're getting rid of cop television shows that show any police officer in a good light. They just want to demonize them constantly because of one bad guy and a few bad police officers out there in the country that they're just all bad. They want to get rid of Aunt Jemima. They want to get rid of Uncle Ben's. They just want to abolish all these different things. It's never going to be good enough for them. is never going to be good enough. Also, when I was talking about Disney, how they're going to donate like $5 million here, one to, like, to the NAACP, and like $2 million to someone else. And like you see all these people on Twitter saying, that's not enough. Why don't you donate $100 million, $1 billion? Why don't you donate more? You guys are so cheap. Donate a lot more and we'll start talking, Disney. Like, people, they're just fucking assholes. They don't care about anything. They don't care about David Dorn. They don't care about George Floyd. They don't care about police brutality. It's just about control. That's all they care about. They don't want equality. They want privileges. Did you know that people, if you are out there literally protesting with Black Lives Matter, you won't be arrested for rioting or things like that? Yeah, you probably didn't know that. There are people want to reopen their bars and want to feed their families. People out there calling them fucking idiots and retards, and they're gonna get people sick. But they literally go to a protest with like 10,000 people, shoulder to shoulder, bumping each other with no mask on, cheering. And I knew this was gonna happen. The cop that killed Rayshard Brooks, literally, people just saying, well, they killed the guy because he was sleeping in his car. He was sleeping. No, he fell asleep at the wheel in a drive-through. Cops took him out, talked to him, took a failed sobriety test, failed the failed sobriety test, so he was getting arrested for a DUI, and then he attacked both police officers after they tried to arrest him. He stole one of their tasers, he ran away, and then the cop shot him, and then they tried to resuscitate him. He wasn't trying to kill him, he tried to neutralize the threat. And he got arrested. He's probably going to be going away for murder. And then you have people weeks before that literally showing pictures of this kid saying he was a good kid, he was a peaceful protester, he didn't want to hurt anyone, he just wanted Black lives to matter, and he was killed by this white supremacist, this murderer here. Like, oh god, oh no. Yeah, I called out a couple people for saying that, because that kid actually assaulted him and his father, who owned the bar that the kid was looting with other people. The guy got a gun. The kid decided to attack him. He shot in the air twice to have the kid get away. He fought him, then shot the kid. And I heard there were some rumors that the kid also tried to reach for the gun. And people want the guy to go to jail for murder, and they call him a white supremacist because he was using self-defense. It's just, we're in complete clown world right now. We are just in this. I've been calling it out for years, but like this, it's just it snapped. It just snapped inside of me, and snapping a lot of other people. And I still don't understand the complete like brainlets that just wanted to defend Antifa, because I'm saying, guys, if you guys want your movement to work, you gotta stop Antifa. They're literally burning down businesses and looting stores, and I'm giving your movement a bad name. And I'm like, we all know it's Antifa. Why don't you call it out? People they go, and Antifa, they're not an organization. Well, they're just too deep inside the movement. They haven't really done any terrorist things at all. I'm like, see, this is why no one agrees with your movement at all. This is why no one takes you seriously. And you literally, like, I'll have videos of people blowing up cars, setting them on fire, throwing things at cops, killing police officers, running up, stabbing police officers, just standing there not doing anything. No one wants to talk about it, but everyone just says, how do you know they're Antifa? They're just anti-fascists, you know? Yeah, they're just anti-fascists. I'm like, if you threaten to burn down buildings or to destroy property or to hurt someone because of ideological reasons, that's terrorism. It's just, I don't know why this has to be explained to so many people. And I've been trying to, I'm sorry, I know I'm keep going on and on, but like, we gotta start pointing out people that want this complete double standard of racism. I talked about it earlier, but I showed this I showed a picture of people in that Chaz area in Seattle completely just occupying the area. They're building their own walls, ironically, and they want these fucking idiots. They want like soy products and vegan beef, which shows how privileged they are. And they set up like what do you call it? Like gardens for only colored and indigenous people, so they could only go there, but not white people. So you want segregation. And I said that. The person said, no, that's not segregation, but people that are black and indigenous do need a safe space from microaggressions. So you want to segregate people. It's just. It's sad, guys. It's sad. It's just sad and pathetic. They want to go after classic movies like Gone with the Wind, with one of the first black women to win an Oscar for the movie. They want to get rid of shows like well, they already achieved with Live PD and Cops. They want to get rid of children's shows like Paw Patrol that show anything good about police officers. They want to do digital book burnings, banning books on Amazon. They try to Google try to suppress certain people. They try to get rid of people's advertisers. It's really disgusting. I felt I had to do this video because I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of just people just being complete hypocrites and race baiting. Just completely just selling false narratives, just lying. It's been going on for years now. It's been built up. Like, everyone's just been pissed off. People have been locked in their house. Well, for me, yesterday was literally the third month. Third month third month of me being stuck in my house, not really doing anything. It's just this is not going to make race relations better. It's going to be much worse when this whole lockdown and everything's gone. There's going to be white people on eggshells because they don't want to lose their job. They don't want to be betrayed racist, but they'll find a way to make you lose your job for wrongthink. Black people even losing their jobs or being outed for being Uncle Toms and Coons and just being completely booted. TV shows and all these companies are giving things to black and indigenous organizations. I don't know what the hell that even means. Now they're gonna just completely just blackwash everything. Now the person who's on Bachelor is a black guy. I've never really met a black person that watches Bachelor, to be honest, which I don't care. And you have a bunch of magic companies talking about how racist magic was, and dude, I don't care. I really don't care. The same thing that David Webb said is just, if you still believe that we live in a racist society, you must believe that everything is static. We don't move forward. We never progress as a species or anything. Everything's always going to be the same. Nothing will change. There's no such thing as progression. But you have people that want to stop racism by being completely racist to white people, shutting them down, making them lose their jobs, and advocating for segregation, and they want privileges while yelling that other people have privileges, and then ignore all the black people literally killing each other in the street. You have people literally making fun of police officers that literally try to help their community. People sit there and laugh at them, and then they literally blow up their precincts. They laugh in their face saying that they want to take away their pensions so they can't take care of their kids or take care of anyone.
Backup plans, everybody has the inside. It's just the fucking Future Mall Cops of America Association in there, okay? Y'all gonna be out of a job in a year? We're coming for your fucking pensions. It's hilarious. I hope every one of you has a backup plan. I hope every one of you has a way that you're gonna explain this to your children in the future. There's gonna be chapters on June 2020 in the fucking history books that we're gonna rewrite. How about you?
They don't even get paid that much. It's all about. It's just a bunch of people, even black people within the movement, are trying to call out all these communists, and no one wants to say anything. I've had someone yesterday come in and admit to me that that Antifa's integrated themselves so much that it's really hard to get rid of them. I'm just like, dude, you gotta call them out. That's the only thing you could do, unless people are just going to call your entire organization like a terrorist race baiting organization. There's really nothing else you could do. Like they've been in there for a really long time. They're going out scamming people, hurting people, things like that, and they're all gonna blame you. It, showing people literally burning the Wendy's down. I don't know why you're even protesting the Wendy's for a justified shooting of a guy trying to shoot at a police officer with a taser. I don't know why you're even protesting there. And then someone from Antifa burns down the building. You guys call them out, but you guys won't say it's from Antifa at all. No one's gonna say anything. Alright guys, I talked long enough. I don't know if I'll really ever talk about this again, because I don't want to bring my channel into that direction, because I just like making memes and joking around and different things like that. It's just like nothing is fun anymore. I just can't have fun. I've been trying to sit down and play video games, and like this sits at the back of my head and different things like that. Especially as a black person in America, I don't agree with a lot of that black identitarian like ideology. It just doesn't really make that much sense to me. I just like to just kick back, make memes, make jokes, perform magic for people and things like that. I don't know why race baiting doesn't get anywhere with anyone. This is gonna set race relations back like a long shot. I remember there was like a few weeks ago there was a protest near my house, and me and my girlfriend just walking down the street, and you already have white people yelling Black Lives Matter to me. It's just like, it just makes me uncomfortable. It just feels like they have to do it so they won't have to lose their job, or they just have to be on eggshells constantly. Well, that's really it, guys.